I'm just double checking. Okay, we are recording. So, welcome to the Financial Advisory webinar series. Obviously, it would normally be hosted by Tanya, and today you guys get me.
Yay.
A few things about Tanya. She's got a lot of items listed here. There's been a lot of accolades over the last couple of years, but most excitedly, she is now officially on the board for the IPBC. So that's brand new for her as well. Brand new for us is we just recently were named the Professional Leader of the Year with the IPBC. So two of our latest achievements. And then just to let you know that we've submitted all these webinars for CE credits. They approve them 1 month at a time. So in order to qualify for the credits, you do need to answer the 2 poll questions that will be going up. And I will do my best to kind of keep track and make sure everybody has a chance to answer those. After the CE credits are approved, it's about 2 weeks for us to get the certificates out to you guys. So just watch for those in your email. We will be recording the webinar, and that will be emailed out within 2 days, as well as any links in that we mentioned that we are providing will be in that same email. So anything at all that's being provided by PayPi will be sent out within 2 days of the webinar. And finally, today we are October 14th. We're just over halfway through our series, and we are going to be talking to PayPi today. So that finishes me off. I'm going to stop my screen share and let you take over, Johan.
Awesome. Thank you, Leanne.
Yeah. Sorry, one more housekeeping, guys, before I take a back seat and be quiet. If you have questions, can you please put them in the Q&A section, not the chat? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So just a reminder, if you've got questions, put them in the Q&A section, not the chat. And I will do my best to moderate it. If it's relevant to what is being talked about right at that moment, I will try to interrupt. But otherwise, I will hold all questions to the end. All right, that is it. Take over. Thank you so much.
Sounds good, Leanne. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with your network of accounting professionals, with the crowd from the Bookkeepers Bootcamp as well. And I would like to give a big congrats to Tanya for her recent win of the Professional of the Year from IPBC. That was awesome and well-deserved. I'm sure she's enjoying some amazing times today with the cast of the Supernatural series as we speak. So go, Tanya. Very nice. Yeah.
And I was just hoping I could get some Supernatural tickets. I don't know how that came along. So, Johan, we're gonna go ahead and start things off right today. Why don't we start off with a little intro of who you are?
All right. So thanks, Richard. So I'm Johan. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of PayPi. I may know some of you already from conferences like QuickBooks Connect and Accountex. And Leanne, I think we met at the Accounting and Finance Show in Toronto as well, right? And hopefully I'll get to meet some more of you later on this year in San Jose and in Toronto for QuickBooks Connect. I've been with PayPi since the very first day alongside with our CEO, Nick Chandy. And a fun fact about me is that I'm originally from Brazil and I relocated to Canada 5 years ago to live in Vancouver. So if you're ever in town, let's get some coffee, okay? And Richard here, well, I guess it's your turn, Richard, but I'll just like to say that, first of all, thank you for co-hosting this webinar with me. And Richard has been an invaluable advisor to PayPi in the past few months. He's an awesome guy. He's in a very unique position in this ecosystem because he knows things from the app development side, from the pro advisors community side, and from the Intuit kind of team side as well. So he's awesome. Go for it, Richard.
Well, thank you, Johan. I appreciate that. And thank you for all the very kind words. So I am Richard Ropa. I'm with Quasar Cowboy Consulting. Quasar Cowboy has been in business for about 5 years. I focus solely in the accounting space with the work that I do, working with apps, pro advisors, CPAs, bookkeepers, Xero consultants, the whole gambit, covering just about everybody who is in the ecosystem and other ecosystems as well. And I've built a fairly tight-knit group of advisors in my Not the Only One roundtable community. It's a group of people who get together to help each other solve problems of the day. And it's named Not the Only One because they're not the only one that have experienced those problems. So there you go. And for those of you that don't know, I'm 1/3 of the co-hosts of the QBO show. We're entering our 10th year this year. As of American Thanksgiving, we enter our 10th year on the air every Thursday. Now, my fun fact, I moved to Palm Springs about 5 years ago from Houston, Texas, which has, I think, more people than the entire country of Canada in it. I wouldn't change a thing from going from that dense of a population to this little 4-mile square town that I have here with me now. I love it. All right, let's, Johan invited you up for coffee. We're going to talk coffee and pie today. Let's take a slice of the pay pie and we're going to dig right in. Johan, tell us about pay pie.
First, it's a pretty sweet pie. First of all, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
You can? Awesome. So PayPie pretty much is a new offering that helps advisors put an end to their clients' cash flow problems. And we built this tool pretty much because we intend for advisors to clearly see their clients' financial health and come up with objective solutions to improve their cash flow. Sometimes that can take minutes, sometimes that can take seconds even from analyzing the data within PayPie. And we did that by mostly eliminating the need for endless spreadsheets or irrelevant, messy data, these kind of things. So all you have to do is to connect a client QuickBooks Online account to PayPie, and the software will automatically create analytics and forecasts and dashboards to help your clients achieve that sustainable growth pretty much. And for those who don't know, we are based in Vancouver, BC. Our team is 25 strong, and we've been around since early 2018. We have a mentality of continuously releasing new features and product improvements. So pretty much, even if you stay 1 month or 2 months without logging in the app, and then you do it again, we'll see major improvements all the time. So that's how we do it.
Heck, Johan, I logged in last week and the week before, and there were some brand new features. So 1 month, you're going to see a whole new app, it seems like, because you guys are adding features left and right. You left something out, though. You were one of the top 10 AppShowdown finalists last year at QB Connect, right?
Okay, that is correct. We were ranked as one of the top 10 apps listed in the Intuit App Store in 2018, and that qualified us as an AppShowdown finalist at the QuickBooks Connect event. So that was an amazing event. We had an amazing time. We got to meet with hundreds of accounting professionals, and pretty much we just got tons of feedback, like, of course, both positive and constructive feedback that served as a stepping stone for us to simply reshape the app to where it is today. So that was based on direct customer feedback and advisors feedback. So some great people like Jeannie Whitehouse and Clayton Oates and a bunch of folks from the Intuitive Dev team, they were essential and pretty much instrumental for that change. And that was an absolute game-changing experience for the company.
Nice, nice. So Johan, you also have a saying at PayPie that I think is brilliant, and I'd love for you to fill folks in on that saying.
All right. Well, it's not exclusive to PayPie, but data is the new oil. I'm sure that most of you have heard of this one before. And well, there's some variances to that. So you can say that data is the new gold, but whatever is the most valuable thing of the moment, that is data today. And that's because data is an absolute asset in today's business world. It's changing the way that companies do business. It's simply like turbocharging your business. That's what data can do, and it's especially relevant for accounting, as it's like lifting the hood into your client's financial health. So compliance is one thing, but understanding the numbers, that's kind of a next level thing. And that's the power that data can bring, and that's why PayPie is essential.
Excellent. So we're gonna race on to the next question here. So we all hear about cash flow analysis. We all hear about why it's great, but how does it truly help accounting professionals? That's one of the big questions that a lot of folks have, especially the ones that are that have been offering standard, and we'll call it after the fact compliance level bookkeeping. cash flow analysis seems like this other thing, and I want to hear about that. How do they work that in?
Yeah, well, pretty much there's that another quote that says that cash is king, right? And we believe that cash is still king. I love that one as well. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash is king.
Nice.
Pretty much cash flow forecasting per se can help most business owners in various ways that follow that more of an advisory lead. So when you start thinking about the benefits that the number can bring to the table, like getting better loan rates, knowing that you can take advantage of maybe purchasing stock at a discount, or knowing that you can hire an ideal salesperson and you can afford to do that. That's the power that data can do, and that empowers for your client to have more cash in the bank. That's the result. So when business owners understand that cash moves pretty much in and out of a business, they can do so much more with that. And happily for the accounting professional listening today, there is another essential piece of that puzzle, which is the fact that business owners that we are talking about, pretty much they rely on you. They rely on the advisor to help them to better understand and to help them make sense of the things they do not know yet. So once you help them, PayPal help you with the numbers, and so it can just bring growth for both your firm and for your clients.
Nice. So I know that another piece of the PayPal puzzle is analytics, and I really like to start with how PayPal and how you define analytics.
Yeah. Analytics is kind of like a buzzword. I know that everyone just throws that around these days, right? But again, that's pretty much what you get after you get the data. So the data can be translated more easily into some visual analytics, analytics that make sense. So don't bring an opinion to a data file. That's what you're saying today. And pretty much what PayPal does is we just take that data from QuickBooks Online and we translate that into trends, into KPIs, into insights. For instance, maybe you want to compare, invoices versus open AR versus actual payments from a historical perspective, and you can do that. And that only takes like maybe 3 clicks in PayPal. So it's a tool that can empower you to just understand things with a couple of clicks instead of having to manually do all of that. And that's what the analytics are pretty much all about.
I love hearing 3 clicks. That's my love language. So what else can we learn from the analytics?
There's pretty much plenty of fun to have in it when you're talking about analytics, but something that you can do maybe in 4 clicks instead of 3 is mapping which ones are your clients' good paying customers and your clients' bad paying customers. And not only that, but you can see the tangible impacts that the bad payers can actually do to your client's cash flow. So once you identify, okay, these guys are not really paying me on time and they account for a large amount of expected cash flow, then you got to take action and improve on that. So that's the kind of insight that you get from the app.
Nice. So we're going to take a quick break here because we're going to be doing our very first poll question. So our first poll question is maintaining a healthy cash flow important for your clients to grow sustainably? There's 2 answers to this, yes or no.
So it should be up on everyone's screen now. So we'll give everyone a few seconds to answer. We've got 11 people on the call. We're at 10 out of 11. So giving that last person a chance, remember that in order to qualify for the CE credits, I do need you to answer both of the poll questions today. So I'll give it another 5 seconds there, counting down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end the polling and then I'll share the answers with all of you guys. There you go.
Well, there you go.
Perfect.
So maintaining healthy cash flow is important to grow sustainably. Perfect.
All right, I'll close that up and let you guys continue.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. So, all right. So, Johan, why don't we dig in a little bit to the app itself? So, let's take a look at 3 or 4 of your favorite things that PayPal does, and I'd love to see it live in action.
Okay. Okay, let me put the demo up here. All right. Okay, awesome. So first of all, as soon as you log in, you can already see one of the things that I like the most, if not the one that I like the most about the app, which is the awesome visual approach that we have towards delivering information and delivering that data. So we are in favor of delivering the information and translating information into ways that business owners can understand, not just like financial experts or financial analysts. So what you as an advisor can just easily log in on the app, and you're going to see, all these beautiful charts and graphs, and you can share that with customers. They're going to be able to understand it right away. So we can see that we have a very, kind of colored theme approach that differentiate KPIs. Anything that once you hover your mouse through these kind of KPIs, you can see the data that pops up as well. So it's not just a matter of visuals, but also of numbers. But I would say that you don't really even need the numbers, because you can clearly see that here your balance is pretty good, and then your cash in and cash out data are very kind of well balanced as well. So you can get that same approach, and feel kind of throughout the entire platform. Once you kind of browse around through some categories, you can see that everything that we show here is based on visuals. And that's for you to just be able to easily log in, connect an account, and see what's going on with the client's financial health right away. That's something that I really like.
Nice. So Nick, I'm curious, you skipped right over that cash flow button. I want to see that a little bit.
Okay, let's go back there. So I would say that this is a cash flow webinar series, right? So most of you, or maybe all of you, are mostly interested in knowing more about how the app can help you with that. And
Right.
The first thing you see is that we have this cash flow chart here that shows two different things. So one of them is actuals, and one of them is forecasted projections. So pretty much the reason why we did that is so you can easily compare how a client was doing at any given time, both in the past and including the next few months as well. So maybe you want to see how much cash a client had on May 4th, right? How much was their opening cash flow balance, closing cash flow balance, and the cash in and cash out amounts that went out on that date. And you can do that by just hovering your mouse and then just see what happened. But most importantly, pretty much, is expanding on this line here and being able to project into the future, obviously, right? So you can see, how much cash your client is going to have in a few months from today. The software pretty much is right now, it's automatically analyzing hundreds of data points and creating forecasts that are based on accounts receivable, on accounts payable, on payroll, on bank feeds, and then creating these projections for you. So pretty much what we do is we create this dynamic chart to reflect what's going on with your client's financials. And so you can see, in this case, for an example, the system projections say that the expected closing balance for that client is $313,000 on December 5th. So that's the kind of approach that you can have. And we heavily focus on short-term cash flow, because that's what's most important for 80 to 90% of business owners. And that's the real lifeblood of a business. So if you can help your client to keep a healthy cash flow in the short term, and if you can keep that, then the conclusion is they're going to stay cash flow healthy for the midterm and long term as well. So that's why we have this approach.
Very nice.
And actually, another very relevant point is that we also have this cash flow calendar in addition to that chart. So this calendar is showing the same information, but conveyed in a more intuitive way, in a more visual way, especially for smaller size business owners. You can even just pinpoint a single date, let's say October 23rd. And besides seeing the opening and closing expected balances, you can expand and see the details of all transactions happening on that day. So this is just a dummy data company. There's only one transaction happening on that day. But if you have like 20, you'll be able to see them here and see the discrimination of each one of them, and maybe make some adjustments so you can make that client stay cash flow positive.
And you can do all that real time.
Real time, yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back. I want to circle back. We were talking.
Before we circle back, can I just inject a question here?
Of course.
I've got a question that asks, are the user projections taken from the company's budget?
So we do have a budget functionality coming up. I was going to talk about that later on. So budgeting is not live today. So the projections, they are coming straight from accounts receivable, accounts payable, transactional data points, everything also in expenses and income sources that are not categorized as AR or AP, and everything like bankroll, payroll, bank fees, and everything, but not from budgets yet. But that's coming, I would say, for sure by the end of the year, but maybe even within a month or so.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Johan.
no problem.
So going back, and thank you, Leanne, by the way. Circling back, going to analytics, I see the financial analytics tab over there. I want to explore that a little bit.
Okay, let's do it. So that's a very, very crucial part about PayPy, and I believe that can really differentiate ourselves and give you some extra value inside of just having the cash flow projections per se. It's because we have analytics that revolve around cash flow data. So these are historical data points. These are not forecasts, but everything here directly impacts on how much cash your client is going to have in the bank. So this chart, for an example, you may think that it's very basic because it only shows income versus expenses. But for a small business owner that just made, let's say, $100,000 last month, and they still don't have enough cash in the bank, they might wonder why. They're like, how come I'm making more money, but I'm still struggling to make ends meet? So when you show them this chart, they can easily understand that, okay, I've been spending more money than what I've been making in the past few months. So that's, never going to happen. That's never going to end well for me. So that's why I don't have enough cash, and I do have to make some improvements on that. And that's a very visual approach. You can even just see the colors here, and you can instantly understand what's going on. Another chart that is important on this section is this total expenses chart. So this is a dynamic chart, which is kind of a fun thing because it shows you the top 4 most impactful expenses for your clients. So regardless of what your client's expenses are, they're going to show up here. So it's going to change from client to client. In this case, they are purchases, legal fees, office, and miscellaneous. And you can see that for sure, legal fees is likely having too big of an impact on their finances, which is not ideal. But lawyers, they're usually expensive. That's how life is. And yeah, that's the goal of this part pretty much.
Excellent, excellent. Now, in addition to income and expenses, you've also got some really good customer analytics as well.
That is correct. And in addition to cash flow, obviously, customers, without customers, you have nothing, right? And I think it's important to have a more granular analysis and identify which ones are your good customers, which ones are your not so good customers, and what you should do about that. So that's why you have, for an example, this chart here. It's another visual way for you to see the top 10 receivables by amount as of, or in this case, October 11th. And that's for you to know, okay, if my client doesn't have enough cash in the bank, maybe by following up, to those clients of my client and having them pay them back, it's likely going to, improve cash flow. Some of these bills are going to be overdue. Some of them are just due, but this can instantly at least let you know what's the outcome for the near future regarding the top 10 receivables. Once you have a better understanding of that, then you can see which ones are your bad paying customers and your good paying customers regarding the average number of days they take to pay you. So this blue line here shows the average number of days that all your clients take to pay you. And the chart itself shows you the top 10 customers regarding the ones that are, the top 10 bad paying customers. So if you're the ones that are taking too long to pay you back. So you can see that these 4 are already kind of customers with red flags on their accounts, because you should follow up on them more often so they can pay you back on time. That's something that directly impacts on cash flow, and you need to take action on that. And finally, Richard, this is something that I know that you were a big fan of, this part specifically.
My favorite, yep.
Your favorite, right? I love this one too. And this gives advisors the power to just kind of tailor whatever data they want to see regarding each individual customer. And that's a very powerful tool. So let's order these guys here according to contribution to sales. Once you do that, you can already see that Jack accounts for 5% of your client sales. So that's their second most important client. But Jack last paid them 28 days ago when he usually takes 9 days to pay them back. So that's a very good indicator. That's why your client doesn't have enough cash in the bank, because they have 5% less money today as they would usually have if Jack were paying them on time, or actually on the average number of days that Jack takes to pay them. So this gives you this is extra as a business intelligence tool to help you gather that kind of insight and tell your customer right away, okay, this is where the problem is, take action and improve on that. And so it's a very powerful way to do that. You can also order these clients according to any of these other KPIs, but the insights that you're going to have are always going to be very granular regarding each customer.
Nice. Nice.
Can
Now there's one.
I interject another question here?
Please.
So we did have a question here. Does it just use AR and AP? She's wondering about other accruals. WIP, deferred revenue, inventory, capital assets, or debt repayments, kind of as examples.
Right. So what we do is to come up with an accurate cash flow forecast, we do need to focus solely on actuals, on cash-based transactions. Otherwise, your forecast will always be, I don't know, maybe 50% as accurate as it could have been, or maybe 70%. But the best way to project something with accuracy is by just focusing on actuals instead of accruals and accruals. So that's why we follow the direct method of cash flow forecasting.
Okay, so really focusing in on the AR and AP then.
Yeah, but mostly. Right. It's not like it accounts for hundreds of data points, but the ones that matter the most are the ones from AR and AP.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So I think that leaves us with talking about expense to sales. So
okay, let's do that. So we know that advisors usually, you kind of want to play around with data and you don't want to take things for granted, and also you want to give your own vision to some analysis. So instead of having our vision on how or on which are the most relevant KPIs for you, you can also customize that through this chart and map trends that are more relevant to you or to a specific client. Because maybe you have a client that instead of caring about cost of goods sold versus revenue, he wants to, or she wants to compare salaries versus wages, and then you want to remove cost of goods sold, and there you go. You can instantly map whatever trends were going on in the past 365 days regarding any of these KPIs, and you can compare 10 of these KPIs at once if that's needed. But I would say that creates kind of a cluster of information. So if you compare 2 or 3, that's ideal. But you can also remove some KPIs and then put them back again. So it's up to you. We want you to give the app your vision on how you want to present things to clients.
So their vision rather than yours. So it's customizable to what they want to see, rather than just what you've got as a pre-canned report. So thank you so much for showing that off. Next up, one of the most popular things in the ecosystem right now is the concept of providing higher level advisory type services.
Richard, if I just sorry about that. If I just can add one more thing here.
Can I miss something? Okay.
Yeah, well, no.
Jump back.
It's just something that I think is very relevant, which is the analysis that we do on receivables and payables. And that's something that directly impacts on cash flow. So we have to show this for sure. Absolutely. As I mentioned before, this is the chart that you can compare invoices versus payments versus open AR, like right away. You can see here that like the blue line is showing the open AR data. And you can see that from December to March, that client didn't do a good job in collecting payment, and their OpenAR charts were through the roof. So that tells you that, no, they need to improve on that, especially if you compare that versus the payments and versus the invoices that they're sending out on a regular basis. So you can see that here they were doing a bad job, and here they kind of improved again. Then they slacked a little bit. Then they drastically improve on these 2 months, and now they're slacking off a little bit again. So you got to make sure that they pay attention to that and that they collect payment on time. And you can see that the impact that has on each individual month. So that's very, very important to them. If you want to do some other kinds of analysis, you can expand and see all the overdue invoices as well. Instead of having to go to QuickBooks, you can just do that through the app. If you want to see an individual, customer analysis regarding how much each of your clients' customers owe them, you can just click a button and all that relation shows up right away. So it's a very holistic way to understand everything in accounts receivable, and the same thing goes for accounts payable. I'm not going to show that to you because it's pretty much the same chart. I mean, the same visual approach, but for payables instead of receivables. Like you can see the top 5 exposures in payables and these kind of things. So that tells you what to focus on at first when you want to improve cash flow.
Thank you so much, Johan. And
Okay.
I'm sorry, I
No,
forgot
no,
to, I just sped right up over that. So my apologies there. So I want to restate the question that I was asking. We hear constantly in the ecosystem about higher level advisory services and what those can mean for firms. So I really want to hear your vision. Does PayPy help with higher level advisory services?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. First of all, that we built the entire tool having advisors in mind. And we know that accounting professionals sometimes struggle with discussing about or even charging clients for these additional services. So we wanted to make it easier for them to approach clients about these topics. So we included, several tools throughout the app to increase that incredibly make it easier for advisors to inject these services into their workflow. So that's the main goal here. And not only you can, see the standard data sets in PayPal like P&L and balance sheet. We have those standard reports as well. I didn't even go through them because they're standard. But we also make it easier for you to maybe create what if scenarios, right? And play around with that, as I had mentioned before. So that plays an essential role in becoming a true business partner, which is where the industry is leading today. So if you want to create tighter bonds with your clients, then you need to not to just focus on becoming a true partner instead of being that regular consultant. And yeah, there's that quote from Steve Jobs again, that tells you that people don't know what they want until you show it to them. So once you bring something like PayPal and you show, I can improve your cash flow consulting with these and these methods, then it's a much easier conversation to have.
And I'm going to say Steve was 1000% correct. I didn't know I needed a smartphone until I was shown the first smartphone, and here I am 12 smartphones later. So yes, Steve is 100% correct.
Yeah.
So Johan, by percentage, what would you say in terms of folks offering higher level advisory services are actually going into cash flow analysis or what if scenarios with their clients? Is it a lot of them?
Yeah, it's a lot of them for sure. First of all, that's not as difficult as you may think. But to answer your first question, I would say that 90% of the accounting professionals that come to PayPy, they are already offering some sort of advisory services.
Oh, wow.
So that's quite pretty much streamlined. But a growing trend that we are seeing is that the majority of those advisors, or let's say 50-50 at least, of those advisors are either specifically providing cash flow consulting, so not just any sort of consulting, but cash flow consulting, or they are evaluating ways to do that because sometimes they don't know, but they are interested about doing that. They hear about that. So that's a major growing trend that we are seeing. And the ones that are already providing those services, they're usually doing that by manually entering data into Excel spreadsheets. But that's immensely, very, very time consuming, and that can lead to various errors. So a solution like PayPal is pretty much, it comes as a long needed breath of fresh air to them. Pretty much imagine if you're entering hundreds of data points at once, then usually you're going to make some minor mistakes. And then you have to do that for each client. And then you have to keep updating that on a regular basis. That's far from ideal. And there's only so much you can actually project by manual efforts, right? So with an automation solution, that's much easier. And on the other hand, newcomers also find the tool to be very intuitive because they can easily just set up an account and get started. I would say that mostly thanks to the how visual approach that we have with the app. So instead of having to think what's going on here or that, they can see that it's already kind of there for them.
That makes sense. So I'm going to make you go back to the app because you talked about what if scenarios. So I want to know what the most common types of what if scenarios that PayPy handles are.
That is correct, my friend. So let me go back to the cash flow section here. First of all, we do have some templates, like you can plan for a loan or, plan for purchasing new assets or maybe plan for a recurring expense. But we have more templates coming up as well. But I would say the most popular one and the one that I'm particularly proud of is the plan for a loan functionality. And so let's do something here, okay? Let's plan a loan for our friend Richard, because Richard is moving to a new office. Congrats, Richard. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. There you go. So you can see that you can just pop up.
Oh.
Yeah. That's your situation, buddy. So you can see that you can instantly pop up that window here and simulate a scenario from within the app. And it's a very comprehensive way of doing that, because you can input all the information, relevant information about the loan. You can input the tenure information here, the loan amount, the interest rates and everything. And the software will already tell you how much your installments will be and the total amount of the loan at the end, right? So you can see here that Richard is actually paying quite a lot on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I'm going to say we need to do a what if and change that from 1 year to a more manageable.
Yeah,
loan.
so that's something that
kill
can.
me.
Yeah, for sure. Very few businesses will be able to afford for that. So maybe you can just simulate that for 5 years, and then now you can see how much that would cost you per month. And but for sure, that would drastically increase your total payment as well. Right.
I think I can do better than 12%. Can we do something with the interest rate?
Yes. Yeah, I also believe that you have some good credit on the market, Richard. So congrats. Let's reduce that to 5% and see what happens.
Yes,
so now, yeah, now even just paying just over $2,000 a month, which is much more doable, and you're paying
much better.
Yeah, 125K at the end, but that's after 5 years. So that's something that you can tell. Okay, that's the right tool for me. Or that's the right resource for me to pursue. Once you create that scenario, the kind of main meat that happens is that the software will automatically reflect that both in the cash flow calendar and on the cash flow chart that you can see here. That's why you have this user projection window. So you can see that by December 20th, for an example, instead of having $330,000 in the bank, Richard will have $420,000. That's accounting for the loan, and it's also already accounting for the loan installments that are going to be taken from his account on a monthly basis and everything.
I like the sound of all that money in the bank, but the payment though, wow. But I'm excited because I'm getting a building, so that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the kind of intelligence that you can get by playing around with these things. And pretty much the goal is to help you make better informed decisions and take the right steps towards your goal.
So cash flow services are as easy as this or not as easy as this? I'm not sure.
Okay, so, well, they can be, pretty much they can. Sometimes moving on to cash flow services is as easy as a conversation. So communication is key. And moving into monthly services, there are more of an add-on can be just as easy too. So mostly let's focus on having a tool, having the right tool, having the knowledge of how the numbers work, and having the confidence to talk to clients about what they need going forward is usually enough for starting the services. So for instance, helping you with your building loan is not an ongoing service, or it can be, but most importantly, it has value. So even if you just do that once, even if your client just wants to make that decision today and not follow up on that again with you, that's fine. And if they want you to monitor that on a monthly basis, you can also do that. But the main thing is that now the client knows that their advisor, so you, have the power and the tools to help them through different situations, so through similar situations, so they're going to keep coming back for more.
You know, one of the hot topics in my roundtable is that it's the easiest way to integrate these additional services is to really realize you don't need a whole new crop of clients. That's typically the best starting point, is work with the clients that you have. They're the easiest ones you'll ever find. And if you work with them first, you can do things like have a favorite one help you out with a pilot program so that you can test the system, test the waters, get your feet wet, get your hands dirty. The thing is, when you make a client a guinea pig, always insist that they give you something back. Make sure they're giving you feedback. Make sure they're giving you the confidence to really build that service into a service line, rather than just jumping in full force and offering it to every client. Test it with the clients that you've got. Make sure it's viable, and there you can start talking to the rest of your client base.
Yeah,
the key is getting that different vibe from your clients. Watching them watch you go from, hey, we're going to talk about the P&L and the balance sheet. We're going to talk about the past to, hey, we're going to talk about the future. Whole different level of conversation. And I think that's one of the best things that advisors can bring to the table.
Oh, you're right. And I would just like to add to that the fact that it's for 7 times cheaper to maintain a happy client, right? And to gather like further resources from them by providing more services than to pursuing new clients, than to trying to convert new clients. So you already have the clients, you already have the client base. The only thing you have to do is to try to expand on that and to add those value added services.
Right.
But to answer your question, yes, you're totally right. First of all, so something that really helps advisors cross that bridge, from a cash flow consulting perspective, is knowing that we got your back. So PayPal, as an institution, has your back pretty much. So in addition to the PayPal app, we also provide one-on-one calls. We have guides, we have resources to assist advisors with all levels of cash flow advisory. So either if you are after an introductory guide or into a more advanced guide, we can help you with that. We, just for this webinar specifically, if you email us at help@paypal.com, and ask for some guidance for us to share these guides as well, we can do that. The only thing you have to do is to mention the Tanya Hills webinar called Bookkeeping Services webinar, and then we'll assist you right away. After that, we also assist you with, whenever you need a call, regardless if it's a training call or if it's a call to help you pitch those services to your clients, you can always schedule that whenever you need.
So that's fantastic. So what you're saying is you've got guides, resources, et cetera. All folks need to do is reach out to PayPal, whether it's on email or a phone call to the PayPal offices. You can get them set up with how-to guides, et cetera.
Yeah. So thanks for being more objective, but that's the goal.
you just jumped right to my next question. I want to know how much it costs, because I'm sure that other people are asking how much it costs as well.
Perfect. So that's a great part, right? First of all, we do have this 100% free plan available, and there's no asterisk to that. The software is 100% free. You're going to get all of these functionalities like the basic forecast, the KPIs, the dashboards and everything. They are included in the free plan, and there's no tricks in that for sure. And we also have this accounting professional plan, which is tailored for advisors. So pretty much the main difference I would say would be that in this plan, in case you have a kind of a smaller size business client that just wants to know how much cash you're going to have 3 months from now and that's it, then this is the plan for you. This is more than enough for sure. But if you're like after becoming that proactive advisor that brings that value added service on a regular basis and help them improve things with your actions, and if you want to drill down and see the expanded transactions on each date, if you want to play around with what if scenarios, if you want to get that kind of consulting services, then the pro plan is the best for you. But it's still pretty affordable because it's just $9 a month per company. In addition to that, you can connect unlimited clients accounts until the end of the year. So this is a special deal that we have. Pretty much we're just making the pro plan free for you and for all your clients until the end of 2019. And the main reason why we're doing that is that we want to make sure that you use the app and you find it useful, and the app is solving, first of all, it's solving your clients' cash flow problems, and it's helping you increase your firm's revenue by consulting services. So once you do that, and if you're like, okay, I connected 20 accounts, I feel like 5 of them would be better to stay in this plan, perfect. The other 15 will just be automatically moved to the free plan, so there's going to be no cost involved whatsoever.
So you can have a combination of both free and paid plan.
Yeah, certainly. That's
as an advisor. Yeah. Okay, that's excellent. So Johan, one more question before we get to our final poll question. You've mentioned it a couple of times. Things are coming down the pike. You've got a very, very robust roadmap. What should folks expect to see before the end of the year?
Yeah, that's correct. So as I mentioned, we always have features being developed in our pipeline. Always, pretty much. I'm just going to share the ones that are closest to being launched, as there's no point in sharing things that are coming next year and so on. But for sure, we're having a zero integration coming later this year. So yay. Right now we integrate with QuickBooks Online, but we have the Zero coming up as well. And we have the budgets functionality that I had mentioned being implemented. And we also have some awesome ways for you to export those reports. So first of all, now you can export, for an example, the cash flow data into an Excel spreadsheet report. But that's like for people that like that, are data aficionados, right? But what we're working on, which is much better, is we're enabling a way for you to export the visuals themselves. So you're going to be able to select what visuals are the best or the most relevant to your clients. You're going to create them, export them into PDFs, and you're going to be able to co-brand that with your logo, with your message, so you can create tighter bonds with your clients. So all of that is coming up pretty soon.
Very nice. Now we've got a question from an audience member, and I'm just going to go ahead and read it if you don't mind, Johan, before we get to our final polling question. So far, the other apps have a minimum of 3 clients. Is there a minimum number of clients for that $9 a month? Or is it $9 per company? And do we pay monthly or annually?
Nice. That's a very good question. We know that usually there are bundles involved and you have to pay to have like 20 accounts or something. But in our case, no, it's completely straightforward. So even if you just want to connect one client account for the Pro plan, on the Pro plan, you can do it. That's it. It's $9 a month and per month, billed monthly, not annually. That's the full cost that you're going to pay. And one thing that I forgot to mention is that the app is completely free for your firm forever. So if you want to use it for your own firm, to project cash flow for your firm, to evaluate the analytics for your firm's QuickBooks account, you can do it. You connect your account and it's going to be automatically done on the Pro plan forever for free.
Nice. Okay. So there's another follow-up to that question, if you don't mind, and is the pricing that you're mentioning, the $9, is that US dollars or Canadian dollars?
Yeah, that's something we have to improve on. Be very honest about that. It's in US dollars, and we're conscious about that. We have to implement our pricing in Canadian dollars, US, Australian, and UK pounds as well, and that's coming. So that's coming. I didn't mention that because that's not a feature per se, but that's coming by the end of the year as well.
No, that is a feature. People knowing what they're paying. I think it's
okay,
a
great
good feature. So I wouldn't worry about that. So we've got a final polling question, unless there are any other questions from the audience, and that is, can you think of at least one client that would benefit from using cash flow consulting services? It's a yes, no, should be pretty easy and quick. We'll let Leanne take it from here.
All right, okay, it should be up there. So everybody's answering very quickly. Sorry.
Well, there you go. And they want their CE credits today.
They want their CE credits today. So yeah, really simple. Yes, no. We've got a couple more people who need to enter in their answer.
And let's drag it out because we need 1 more minute to actually qualify for that CE credit. So
just.
And if we have another question from the audience, let's take it so that
I'd just like to phrase that.
So that we go over the line.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. I'll give everyone just a reminder. We need you guys to answer that. We've got a couple holdouts there. So I'll give it 5 more seconds to answer the poll and then I'll post it up. And then yes, if you guys have any questions, please enter it into the question and we will make sure that you get your answers. So we'll give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me share those results.
Hey, look at that, another full sweep.
There you go.
So excellent. So folks are here because they're really looking at offering cash flow services. Yeah. So we are 10 seconds from crossing that crucial line for making sure that CE credit is available to anybody, and we just did it. So if we've got any questions from the audience, Leanne, if you want to monitor that, we're very happy to answer those.
All right.
And also, if you have any other questions, you can always just follow up and email us at help@paypal.com. Even if you just want to get on a call and chat, if you haven't signed up yet, if you just want to talk about the tool or the market or clients, you can just reach us out and we can make it happen.
Or if you just want to plan a coffee date with Johan, just say it.
Let's do it.
All right, so we do have a question. One is asking, can we manually add in budgets and projections now?
That is being uploaded live on Friday, pretty much by this Friday.
So
Because
let's say
right now, first of all, right now that is possible. It is possible for you to upload a new transaction, but we are implementing a way for you to remove whatever actuals are already there, just in case you want to play around with some, past data as well to change your future data. That's coming live by this Friday.
So just to confirm, budgets will be live this Friday.
No, not the full budgets, but that part, yes.
So the projection part, like being able to say, if this happens in my business, this is how it's going to change.
No,
my
that is
future
already
forecast.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't clear enough. That part is already live. You can already do that. What I was referring to is that by this Friday, you're going to be able to change like past data, your actuals as well, not just to create, what if scenarios with projections. Oh, maybe I'll receive another $10,000 next month. That is already live. But we'll be able to change a past transaction, for example, something that happened last month, and see, a reflection of that, because some people do want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions? Very happy to answer. I have a question. I don't know if you can answer us, but how many in the audience, Leanne, do we know? Is everybody going to be at Connect, or is this
14?
Oh, okay. Do you guys want to, you guys can pop that even in the chat. If you guys are going to be at Connect, Richard's just wondering how many of you we might see in San Jose in 3 weeks. Can you believe it? Like it's just over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to see it in 3 weeks. I am so far behind on everything.
Wow.
No, we got 3 comments.
Okay, so we've got some maybe next year's.
Yeah.
Drop by the PayPal booth. Maybe we'll get you, with one of these T-shirts all set up and everything.
Nice.
For fun.
Karen, will you guys be in QuickBooks Connect in Toronto? Because Karen will be seeing us in Toronto.
Yeah, we're both. Toronto and San Jose. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, anybody that is in San Jose, stop by and say hi. For those of you in Toronto as well, stop by and say hi. Johan's giving out shirts. I'm just going to say I still need a shirt, Johan. And,
you're correct.
So I will definitely see you at the booth at Connect. I'll be the first one in line.
Sounds good, my friend.
All right, Leanne, anything else we need to do before we wrap up?
Nope. I think we've got it all covered. There's no further questions. We've got another comment from Allison, though. Love the colorful graphics. Very powerful tool. Thanks, everyone. So, yes, thank you so much, you guys. Great presentation. Lots of good information. Really, really appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you, Leanne.
Absolutely. And I think we'll be back on Wednesday, to be honest.
Yes, for the boot campers. Yes. Yeah. And I will see you both there for sure.
Excellent. Well, it's a whole week of Leanne. We like that.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Happy Thanksgiving in Canada.